Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Clint Gatewood, Vice President of Channels here at SaaSMAX, and I'm happy to introduce you to our Introducing the SaaSMAX Cybersecurity Marketplace, our one-stop shop for our solution providers and resellers and consultants to market sell security as a service solutions for your clients. I'm Clint Gatewood, of course. Right here is me. That's my beautiful mug right there. I'm one of your hosts today. I would like to introduce real quickly Laura Stewart, who's the owner and author of Wisdom Learned and LLC. She'll be hosting all of our questions and answers today. Laura, do you want to say hello real quick?
Hey everyone, it's great to be here.
Great, thank you very much. So she'll be yes, and I am showing this. I am showing the slides now. So sorry about that. Here's your host. This is my ugly mug, and this is Laura Stewart. Laura's been one of our co-hosts today. She'll be doing the questions and the answers today. She's a good friend of mine from a long time ago, way back in past lives, and she's written some books and is the CEO and owner and author at Wisdom Learned LLC. On the agenda today, if you have questions, we're not going to unmute the audience today, so please type your questions in as we move forward, and Laura will ask those questions later. We have a lot of content to show you today, so we're going to be going really fast, so hold on to your seat. Again, type in your questions, and we will get to your question and answer session at the end. Real briefly on the agenda, I'll be introducing our sponsors for the event today. We'll talk a little bit about the SaaSMAX Reseller SaaS Commerce platform. Then I'll introduce our vendors one by one as we go forward. We have today with us CompTIA, and we really appreciate CompTIA's sponsorship, overall sponsorship of our cybersecurity marketplace, as well as the training and everything that they do, but they'll talk more about that. Ningio, happy to have Ningio with us, and My Digital Shield Compliancy Group. After we go through and talk about the vendors, we'll talk a little bit more how you can learn more about what we're doing and about what the cybersecurity marketplace is and how you can get your own cybersecurity webinar. Not webinar, but your actual store. A little wrong word right there. So again, welcome to our sponsors. I want to welcome them. CompTIA is a sponsor of the cybersecurity marketplace, as well as Leidos, which is a multi-billion-dollar integrator. So they also are bringing in some products into the marketplace, so everything will look good, and they're really helping us out. Both of our sponsors are with making this available to you. So we appreciate that. You might ask, why are we really focused on cybersecurity? It's kind of self-evident to some extent, but it's really an epidemic. Cybersecurity and breaches and hacks are costing the global community over $445 billion. The spending on cybersecurity will hit $1 trillion in the next 5 years. So it's a very hot market. It's a great way for you to take your company and to market with these types of products in cybersecurity, and a lot of them are moving towards the cloud. So there's a ton of opportunity there for solution providers. SaaSMAX is helping our reseller community with our SaaSMAX Reseller Commerce platform. It's a quote-to-cash system where you can choose the different apps that you want to sell out of our marketplace, work with them. You can create your own bundles. You can add your own products and services to the web stores. You can launch your own branded web store and market and sell your apps and your app packages. We're also doing a lot to help you with the SEO and the digital marketing of the web stores. It's you can close sales faster, and we in the back end, our billing platform, our commerce platform has the licensing commission tracking all in one place for you, so you can see all the different apps you're pushing, how your web store is performing, and the sales that you're getting. This is just a quick couple screenshots of the commerce platform, so you can come in, set up your own web store. You can choose the apps that you want to, and then you can push them. You can push them out to to a live web store, which we're hosting, or we will have options if you wanted to host it yourself. That option will be coming available. This is just a look at the dashboard, so you can see all your sales, all your approvals, all your quotes, how many sales that you've had this month, year to date, and other valuable information for you as you're running your store and you're running your business. We have some great profitable vendors today, so we're going to get right into the presentations. We have 4 channel-friendly partners with us today. They have great channel programs. You can make some really good profits from it, as well as driving other business from them. And they have really great partner support. At SaaSMAX, we do a lot of working with our vendors and looking at their channel programs to make sure that they have good channel programs before we even bring them into the marketplace. And we just want to make sure that they're going to be able to support you, enable you, provide you sales, in many cases provide you leads, and different discounts and such because you're a SaaSMAX member. With that, we're going to start. I'd like to introduce Josh Kilker. He's a Director of Business Development at CompTIA. So Josh, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Clint. As Clint just said, my name is Josh, and I'm the Director of Business Development at CompTIA. And we'll just jump right in here. I always like to start off by telling people who is CompTIA. We're a little bit unique where we are a non-for-profit global IT industry trade association, and we're headquartered in a suburb of Chicago. Now, we have an extensive global footprint with offices around the world in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. But people best know us probably for our vendor-neutral IT certifications, as we have over 1.5 million IT professionals certified. But that being said, we're also a member-based association, as we have nearly 2,000 premier member companies in about 90-plus countries. And our members consist of organizations, such as solution providers, vendors, distributors, or companies that support the IT channel. Our mission here at CompTIA is to advance the IT industry by serving tech businesses, tech professionals, tech educators, or anyone interested in a tech career or the tech industry. Now, in doing so, we try to focus our programs on, networking through events and our member-led councils and communities that help thousands of tech executives and professionals learn and collaborate with peers. Now, the communities that someone can get involved with CompTIA, they're the Advancing Women in IT, Canadian IT Business, Cloud, Future Leaders, IT Security, IT Services and Support, Managed Print, Managed Services, and the international communities that we have, the ANZ and the UK channel community. We also focus on educating the IT channel through our vendor-neutral business standards, which is technical content to help drive business revenue and professional growth. And we also certify the IT workforce through CompTIA's vendor-neutral IT certifications that I mentioned a little earlier. And you might be more familiar with some of the more popular certifications that we have, such as CompTIA's A+, Network+, or Security+, just to name a few. We also advocate at state, federal, and international levels for policies that build a skilled tech workforce and advance the digital economy. And lastly, we give back through philanthropy to help individuals succeed in IT. So that just give an overview of who CompTIA is. I'll jump into some of the member benefits that we offer. Now, as stated before, CompTIA is a member-based association. An organization or individual can join CompTIA as either a premier member or what we call a registered user. I'll first go over the premier membership. And CompTIA's premier membership is company-wide and offers all individuals at an organization networking opportunities through CompTIA events, such as our annual member meeting, also known as AMM, which will actually be taking place in Chicago next March, and this is for members only. We'll have anywhere from 300 to 400 members there just networking and going over things that's happening within the IT channel. Another event that we have is called ChannelCon, which will be taking place in Austin, Texas in the summer of next year. And this is attended by members and non-members. There's about 1,000 to 1,200 people there on site. It's a great educational networking event as well. And lastly, the CompTIA EMEA event, which recently just took place last week. Now, Premier Membership also offers industry insights through hundreds of industry and channel research reports that CompTIA has available, along with CompTIA Channel Education, which helps educate people on hot topics in the industry. Going back to the research, CompTIA launches roughly 15 new research reports each year, and a few security research studies that came out this year was the Practices of Security Professionals, which focuses and examines the security usage and practices of IT security professionals as well as workforce perspectives, and the International Trends in Cybersecurity. Now, this report is it's a research report on behaviors, techniques, and opportunities associated with IT security across 12 different countries. Moving along, Premier members can take advantage of business tools and templates as well. A few examples of this would be the CompTIA Sales Toolkit, which actually provides valuable and easy to follow information that both business owners and sales professionals can use to move their sales game forward. And also we have another tool just to give you an example of is the CompTIA Marketing Toolkit, which gives a strategic process for building a comprehensive marketing plan for reaching today's customer and guiding your business solutions through their entire life cycles. Another tool that Premier members can take advantage of is the CompTIA Cybersecure, which is fairly new and is a self-paced online training course that focuses on implications of security behaviors of everyone in the workforce, or everyone in their specific workplace. Premier members actually can take advantage of 50 free seats annually. All you have to do is be a current member of CompTIA. And lastly, CompTIA members can take advantage of certification discounts that are available for you and anyone at your organization. The discount is about 15% off, and this can be used on an unlimited amount of certification vouchers. Now, previously I mentioned the register users, and what that is, if you're not ready to be a Premier member, you can sign up as a register user, which is free, and this allows individuals an opportunity to explore and download a select amount of CompTIA research reports and training guides at zero cost. So just to wrap things up, Premier membership is normally $350 annually, and like mentioned before, anyone at your organization can take advantage of the many membership benefits that I gave a high overview on. Now that being said, SaaSMAX partners can sign up as a Premier member with a $100 discount using the promo code SPV517747, which is listed on the screen as well. And there's also, you can use that at the solution provider application on our main website or follow the link listed below. But if you have any questions or you want to go into more detail about some of the benefits we have, please feel free to contact me directly at jkilker@comptia.org. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. And I once again want to thank CompTIA as being one of our sponsors. Their funding and their support has gone a long way in making everything that we do and that we bring to the channel very helpful. And you'll find a lot of solution providers use CompTIA in their certifications. So if you're not a member today, here's another great discount for you. If you need the code, you can contact me or SaaSMAX, and we can make sure that you get this code so you can also get your discount, and you and your employees can enjoy the benefits of CompTIA as well. Thanks, Josh.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Ningio. So I'd like to introduce Zach Schuller. I've known Zach a long time. We were partners of sorts. He was a reseller partner of mine, a MSP partner of mine, and I want to introduce him. He's become a good friend over the years. So Zach, it's all you. Zach, you there?
I thought I turned off my mute, but apparently I didn't. That was interesting. Can everyone hear me now?
We can hear you now, just like Verizon.
Great. So what I was saying was thanks, Clint, for having me on. Last time Clint and I did a webinar together, it was 1962. So it's been a while, but thank you for having me. So today we're going to talk about Ningio, a managed security awareness solution that's gamified. First, though, let's talk real quickly about the threat. And a lot of you on the call today are technical. You understand the threat. You might not understand the human element of the threat, and that is that IBM now attributes 95% of security breaches to human error. And that's a massive number. Hackers don't discriminate on the size of the organization anymore. In fact, they are more likely to go after small businesses now, just because small businesses usually don't have as much to invest in security. Our technology perceptions in the IT world, though, are throw more money at software and hardware and you're going to fix the problem. But the reality is no matter what we do, some threats are still going to make their way through the system, right? It doesn't matter how much money we spend in hardware and software. A targeted attack will make its way through the system, especially if it's going after a single individual inside the organization. So what we have to fall back on, fortunately or unfortunately, is security awareness training. But the problem with the security awareness training is when most people hear the word training, they yawn. And why? Well, training is boring. It's one of those things that you just don't have to understand or know to get your actual job done. And some of the challenges in the industry are that most security awareness programs are scheduled annually, and they do that just to check the box. So think about, you go through a 1 hour long training, you do it in January, you took a quiz or whatever and you check the box, and then February rolls around. How much of that training from last month do you really actually remember. Not a lot. It leads to really poor retention. And what's remarkable in my mind, the disconnect between it being scheduled annually, Clint, you can go to the next slide, is that the threats actually occur every hour. There are nearly 1 million new variants of malware that are developed every day. So you've got training that happens annually and threats that occur hourly, a huge disconnect in the IT security awareness world. So about a year and a half ago, I conceptualized Ningio. Real quick background on me on how I got there. I started a business called CalNet Technology Group, an MSP, in 1995. I sold it to a private equity firm 3 years ago yesterday, was our 3-year anniversary. And during the course of that, I was pretty technical and had a big technical team working for us. We were close to 100 people when I sold the business. And, I just saw customers getting hacked over and over again. And when you go to your team and say, what's going on, they would say, Lisa clicked on something stupid. And so I took this concept, I had a blank canvas, and I said, if I wanted to be trained like a regular old user, what would be the best and most engaging way? And how would IT want to deliver that service? So the first thing I went to is I said, from an IT perspective, I would want it to be a managed service. You all know what managed services mean. Simply something you don't have to deal with. So it's a managed service to my MSPs, my end customers, right? You don't have to do anything with it. The second thing that I would do was I would make it gamified. Gamified is a concept that's come up over the last couple of years in corporate America, and we're going to talk more about it in a minute, but it's just increasing employee engagement through playing games. Next slide, please. So at the core of what we do, and I'm hoping that some of you have seen this. If you haven't, you can go to our website, scroll 75% of the way down, and one of our episodes are up there. But what we're doing is 3 to 4 minute long animated episodes, and we release a brand new one every 30 days. Your customer will never see an episode repeated unless they choose to go and repeat it. And the magic behind what we're doing is that we're utilizing Hollywood storytelling. So each of these animated episodes, Clint, you can go to the next slide. Each of these animated episodes feature a real company, a real breach, and a real lesson. So for example, we've done the Sony Pictures breach. We've done the Ashley Madison breach. And they're all 3 to 4 minute long segments on these breaches and how they've happened. And then we teach one real attack vector behind that. The guy in the picture is a guy by the name of Bill Haynes. He's a guy I went to college with. Bill's a writer for CSI and Hawaii Five-0, and so he really knows what he's doing when it comes to putting a script together. And so that's really what makes this engaging. Our episodes are released the first Tuesday of every month. The third Tuesday of every month, we release what we call additional content. The additional content is simply a 3-pane JPEG that goes out via email to your user, and we call that our anchoring cartoon. And all that cartoon is doing is taking the characters and the teachable moment from the video they saw 2 weeks earlier and anchoring it into the brain. We're really convicted that if you watch the video and then 2 weeks later you're reminded of it, that teachable moment gets solidified. The second thing we do is we release a link to our blog. It's got 5 security articles on there that have been curated by a security writer. The first article always talks about the breach and exactly how it happened. The rest of the articles talk about the attack vector. And so that's part of the content that we offer with the service as well. Real quick, just taking a quick snapshot of some of our clients. We've got clients that are pretty massive. Omnicom Media Group, 65,000 employees, although we're not deployed out to all 65,000 yet. And then we have companies that are as small as Vizio. Vizio is kind of funny. You say small, they're a $3 billion company, but they only have about 500 employees. And then one of the relationships we're really proud of is Kroll. Kroll On Track, which many of you have probably heard of. They're a security company. They do identity restoration among a bunch of other things. Kroll uses our content to train their customers. Now, you guys to look at these and say, wow, these are all big logos. Of course, we're going to use big logos for a presentation, but we have lots and lots of clients that are 30, 50, 70, 100 seats. And so we definitely scale down into the S of the SMB. All right, so let's talk quickly about how it works. So you're in IT, and we're talking about the end client now. You're in IT. We send the user, or you would send the user an Excel template with first name, last name, email address, and department. We would upload that template into our cloud-based LMS. So now we have all the employees in our cloud-based LMS. From there, we partner on an introductory email that can be customized that goes out to the employee base, letting them know what to expect. They're going to see a new video every 30 days, and they're going to see the anchoring cartoon after that. From there, the first episode goes out, and now the employees actually earn points based on timely consumption. So if they watch a video in the first 24 hours, they get 2 points. If they watch the video in the first 72 hours, they get 1 point. It puts them on a leaderboard as they consume the content quickly. Next, we've got full metrics and reporting based on individual or department, which I will show you right now in this next slide. So if you take a look at this slide here, it runs through each of our episodes. We just took a snip of this one company. We're really proud of them. Runs through our 8 episodes, the engagement rate that they have on those episodes. So they have 100% engagement, which means that 100% of their employees actually watched, took the quiz, and completed the episode. And then we give the point of contact a leaderboard to show their leaders and who's consuming the content in a timely manner. The leaderboard is a private leaderboard. It's for the POC to use or not use. When you dig deeper into the reporting, you'll find that you can click on episode 5, for example. That's what this is, and you can see your users exactly who logged in and took the episode, and the 2 bottom users did not. By the way, all of these names have been changed to protect the innocent. These are all people I went to elementary school with. If you look at the very bottom, you'll see that the total engagement percentage on that episode was 94-something%, and so it gives you that. A real unique thing that we do is what we call peer-to-peer reporting. So when you sign up as a Ningio client, you'll get a unique 5-digit ID that you and only you know, and then you can take, once a month we release this report, you can take your 5-digit ID and get an understanding as to how you stack rank next to the other folks on the Ningio platform. And that just gives you an idea of how you're doing. Next, the solution is very mobile friendly. iPhone and Android works great. Lots of people take our courses on their mobile device. They might be at the gym on the exercise bike and want to complete their training. They can do it right on the mobile device. Next slide. Other options, private portal. Now, when we resell or when we bring on MSPs, we provide them with a private portal. So it's a white labeled solution. You can have your logos, your corporate assets, etc. I would say it includes single sign-on, but in this case it probably doesn't because you're going to have multiple clients on your portal. But basically, you got your own thing, your own portal to brand, all that kind of good stuff. And so it's not really a Ningio product from that standpoint. It's a Yorco product. Next slide. I think we're going to go over our release schedule here, which is for 2016. You take a look. Every episode represents a month. Then we talk about the attack vector that we cover, and then the story that it was inspired by or based on. Pretty interesting lineup. You know, most of what you would see out there: ransomware, same passwords, spear phishing, W2s, W2 scams, public Wi-Fi, and then if you look at the right, we've covered every major breach that's happened in the last couple of months. In fact, we just made a change. The Yahoo breach made it onto episode 12. So that's literally a breach happens. We write about it. We go to voice recording. We go through the whole process, and then we release it. So our stuff is really timely. Next and last slide. This is our pricing. This is a cost per user per month model. It is this is MSRP. So this is what the end user would pay if they called Ningio. Now, as an MSP reseller, we wholesale you the content, and then you can turn around and sell the content for whatever you want to sell it for. This pricing is not published on our website or anywhere else. It is just if I were doing a presentation to an end user, this is what it would be. But as a reseller, you can charge whatever you'd like to charge, or as little as you would like to charge. That's all I have for you guys for today. I hope I made it within my time frame. And I'll be around at the end of the call in case anyone has any questions. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach. I appreciate it. I just had the wrong date when you started your company. I thought it was 64, but quite as old as I thought. Thank you very much.
You bet.
So our next vendor up today is My Digital Shield, and there's 2 folks sitting here. Andrew Baker, the CEO, will be beginning out first, and then we have Jenna Chase, the channel marketing manager, who will pick up the last couple slides. So, Andrew, go right ahead.
So good day to everybody. Hopefully, I could properly unmuted my microphone here. You guys can hear me? So wanted to start out with talking a little bit about perimeter security. Now, everybody's heard about perimeter security and firewalls and how that evolved and everything. But I wanted to kind of look back a little bit and start back way back in the day when everybody received a floppy disk in the mail. You stuck it in your computer, it said AOL, you installed it, and then bam, you're dialing up to the internet. So at the time, nobody really was concerned about cybersecurity, and your perimeter was that computer that you were on. And shortly after that, we invented these things called local area networks. And we put a perimeter there, we put a firewall. So local area network was this trusted network that we had that was, it's a company network, it's whatever network, and then there was the outside network, and we had the separation between them. So what happened is we moved way beyond that, and on the next slide here, what the network is this. Now you can have multiple locations, and in those locations, the computers, they don't just stay there. They can move between locations. They can move, home. They can move to Starbucks, to the airport, and everywhere else. And on top of that, can you hit next? You have mobile devices as well that come on and off the network. So it's where did the perimeter go, right? And although the network evolved to where it's like you're sitting there and everybody's still hoping for this perimeter to be there, but devices are floating all over the place. Yet at the same time, we're still sitting there with this physical box at a physical location that we call the perimeter, or that we call a firewall or a UTM or a next-gen firewall. So the firewall itself, it did evolve, right? Obviously, the threats grew. And so at first we started with a firewall, then we added IPS, then we added antivirus, and web filtering, and DLP, application control, and so on and so forth. And as we're doing this, to be able to better protect this perimeter, what ended up happening is, especially it showed itself in the small business segment, is we created this thing that I call the cybersecurity trichotomy. And this problem, this trichotomy, can you hit the next slide? It's basically you have one of three things. So you could go ahead and just bring up everything on the slide here. Pick an option. What's important to you? Is security important to you? Is performance, or is low cost? And with most of our customers, since we focus on the SMB space, most of our customers are small businesses, and they're very cost conscious. So that's probably the most important thing to them. And whenever they want to have lower costs, they suffer in performance or they suffer in security. And unfortunately, that very far left diagram there, that kind of shows where you're suffering security. And this is the majority of the solutions today. Is what they do is they go, okay, we don't want to make this thing expensive. At the same time, we don't want to kill performance because that's something that somebody realizes right away. So they start removing a lot of the security checks that happen on the gateway. And that's why you have a lot of threats that just get through. Somebody clicks on a link and it's not blocked. Somebody's downloading something, it's not blocked. There's some kind of attack, SQL injection or something, it's not blocked. Or you may have also seen this where you have a pretty good solution and it has all the signatures, but now all of a sudden, you spec this thing out for 50 meg and now it's running at 20 meg. And every day it gets slower and slower as it's being updated, the signatures are being updated. And that's the other side of it where it impacts performance. And the third side of the trichotomy is cost. And this is usually not an option to just increase the cost for our customers, because a lot of our customers, there are SMB, and they're selling pizzas or doing taxes or whatever they do, right? Whatever their business is, and they're not going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on their perimeter security. So usually that third option is only a large enterprise option. So what happens? What do we do here? So this is where My Digital Shield is very different. What we did is we moved the perimeter. We took that perimeter from the box on the customer's location, and we moved it up into the network. We moved it into the cloud. So what happens now is you have one unified Omni Shield that has full inspection, full unified threat management. You don't have to disable any security, or it's not disabled for you, which it is in a lot of cases. And it runs at wire speed because we have unlimited processing resources in the cloud. We're not confined by this one box, how fast it can go. And on top of that, since it's all unified and everything, it doesn't matter what type of device it is. It doesn't matter where they are, if they're location A, B, or C, or if they're somewhere mobile. They'll always be connected through this Omni Shield will always be behind that same perimeter, no matter where they are, and they'll always have that same unified configuration. So now, the question is okay, that's great, I get it, the perimeter moved up. How do I connect that office to this perimeter, to this Omni Shield? So there's two options, and I'm just going to go quickly over them. I know this is a very more in-depth conversation, but you can hit the next slide here. So there's two options. First one is BYOG, or Bring Your Own Gateway. And what this is if you have a router that, we have a supported list of routers. If you have a router that does IPsec or GRE, you could take that router and order an Omni Shield and say, I have XYZ router, like an Arachnus. And it'll give you a configuration to plug into that Arachnus. That Arachnus creates an IPsec tunnel to our cloud, to Omni Shield, and now all of the traffic goes through Omni Shield. And now Omni Shield in our cloud is now your new perimeter. Now we have a second option, which we call a Cloud Link, which is a very simple box that will ship to you. Plug it in, and it auto connects up. It's like a cloud router. Auto connects up to Omni Shield, creates the connection, and bam, you're rocking and rolling. It doesn't have a lot of options on the box. It's really made just to connect up, but it does do Wi-Fi. So this is a perfect case for like a dry cleaners or a sushi place where they, it's a small place. They only have like a cable modem or something like that. They don't have a router that supports IPsec. You plug this thing in, bam, lights it up, you're good to go. So this concept of moving this perimeter to the cloud, or moving this thing to the cloud, and providing clean internet, it seems different, but it's not very new. If I think about other things that happen this way, and you can hit the next slide here, there's a lot of benefit of moving things to the cloud, moving things somewhere centrally, because now we can use all the power of everything to be able to provide that clean internet connection. So if I think about some countries out there, we don't have this problem, but in some countries you have to get clean water, you have to go to the river with a bucket, get water, boil it, distill it, maybe use some chemicals to get rid of the bacteria of the month, and then you can finally have clean drinking water, right? Electricity. Nobody uses a steam-powered generator anymore. Everybody just pays monthly. They plug in and they get electricity because it's generated somewhere centrally. And water in our country, we don't even think about it. We just turn on a tap and we get clean water because it's done somewhere centrally, it's being cleaned centrally, and it's provided already clean. We just pay monthly for the utility. Well, internet should be the same way. I feel like with internet, it's like, here's the dirty internet, and here's some software, here's a box, here's something else. Good luck with it. Hope you get it clean. And everybody gets malware, everybody gets ransomware, everybody gets infected, everybody clicks on a link, and what we're trying to do is take that same model to where we're providing already clean internet. We're filtering it and cleaning it way up in the cloud using the best technologies possible so that you don't have to worry about it. You just plug in your customers, you manage them centrally, and away you go. So that's the concept of My Digital Shield. Now, one quick thing before I hand this over to Jenna Chase, and you can hit the next slide here. We had a tool that we built just to give visibility to you and for you to give visibility to your customers. It's called Shield Test. Now this tool, it can be branded with your logo and everything else. We can talk about that later, but we're strictly channel, so everything we have is all private labeled. And this tool is a simple 30 seconds. You click start, and it'll do some simple tests like it'll do a mini DOS attack to see if you have defenses, if it triggers a defense. It'll try to upload credit card numbers to see if you have a DLP properly configured to block it. It'll try to do a SQL injection. It'll try to transfer a sample malware code across to see if you have AV on the gateway that will block it. And it just gives a good visualization of what you have set up and if it's turned on and if it's working properly. And you can use this to show your customers, hey, look, we haven't talked about your security in a long time. It's time to upgrade. And here's why, because we're letting this stuff through. So now I want to hand it over to Jenna Chase. She's going to talk about the partner program and a few other things. Jenna, take it away.
Thank you, Andrew, and hi, everyone. So what does it mean to partner with My Digital Shield? Some of the items here on the left summarize what Andrew has just reviewed with us about the uniqueness of our technology. Our focus is to really empower the MSP, IT providers, and their customers, specifically in the SMB market, by bringing them a Fortune 500 security solution that's affordable. It's subscription-based, which provides that simple month-to-month billing model to help you build that monthly recurring revenue stream. As a vendor partner, we provide a rich and attainable revenue share, brandable sales and marketing collateral, initial sales and technical training, and of course, dedicated account management. Then if you choose to become a certified partner, we provide more in-depth sales, marketing, technical training, some lead generation activities, joint promotional materials, and joint marketing events. There are 3 tiers to our partner program, and Clint, you can go ahead and just put it all up there on the slide. We've got silver, gold, and certified. The first 2 are margin tiers based on volume, and then if you choose to become certified, you reach that ultimate margin of 45% off MSRP, and then all the benefits as noted on the previous slide. We can go to the next slide now. Then to the product, we have 3 different subscription levels. No matter which level or device you choose, all of the security features are turned on, even in the light option. The only difference is within the network features, as we've outlined here. The monthly subscription costs you see are in suggested retail price to follow as a guide. Depending on your business model, this might just become a line item in your overall monthly managed services fee, or of course you can mark it up, which we have many partners that do, and this will ultimately increase your margins. And all of our subscriptions come with our cyber breach coverage, which is backed by Assurant, one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Of course, you'll find all of this information on our SaaSMAX profile. You can go to the next slide. But if you can't wait to speak to someone, just shoot us an email, sales@mydigitalshield.com, and don't forget to try out our free Shield test. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Jenna. I greatly appreciate it. I want to take a moment. There was a couple questions about whether we'll be sharing presenters' email addresses. We will be following up with you from SaaSMAX, and including in that follow-up, we will provide you the contact information for each of the presenters here today. So we will get that out to you, and we will also have this as a recorded webinar that you can watch later or share with your friends or your employees to take a look at different things. So I want to take one more moment before I introduce our last vendor for the day to remind you to go ahead and type in your questions now from the previous 3 you saw, or if you have questions about SaaSMAX as well, you can also ask us questions about SaaSMAX and our cybersecurity stores that we can answer. So go ahead and start typing in some more of your questions, and we're going to move on to our next presenter, which is Mark Harkleson, President and CEO of Compliancy Group. I love everything that he's doing as well, everything that all our vendors are doing, and I'm very excited about Compliancy Group as well. So Mark, I'd like to introduce you and have you take away your product.
All right, thank you, Clint. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. So before I go through all the boring slides, and when I talk about HIPAA, most people start rolling their eyes. Basically, what we're going to talk about today is that this is the single largest opportunity I think an IT provider can jump into right now, based on what's going on with the market and the combination of the technology and or methodology that you're going to hear me talk about, that we can allow you to offer compliance as a service, as a bolt-on to your current services that you're providing. So in simple, just to summarize what we do is we simplify compliance so you and or your clients can confidently focus on their business. We'd love to talk to you another time about the history of our organization, but we have definitely proved that we can build a technology that you can bolt on that will do a couple things. First of all, we have thousands of clients, 6,800 different business associates and 100 plus MSPs that are already using this. We are in every state, endorsed by a substantial 40 plus some odd medical associations, so you can feel confident. The things that really matter is when we work with you and or your client, a couple of big buzzwords is you do get what's called a verified seal of compliance. So it is very similar to what is a high trust certification. Couple other things that I think are important if you are looking to partner with us. We have been doing this for 11 years. No client of ours has ever failed what's called an OCR or CMS audit, and yes, we have been through hundreds. And 100% of our clients, we would survey them all, would refer us to a friend. So ultimately, though, what we're really talking about today is being able to give you compliance as a service or HIPAA compliance as a service to add on to your offerings. Why? It's highly profitable, okay, and will either let you retain your current clients that are in healthcare or give you access to the highly lucrative healthcare market. So Clint, if you can go to the next one. So what is the healthcare market? Okay, so right now, a couple things about HIPAA that a lot of people misunderstand. Is HIPAA is a federal law. This is not an optional thing. Often what you're hearing your clients asking you for, security risk assessment, is actually a big misunderstanding. That is an incentive program. They had to be HIPAA compliant. The security risk assessment they asked you for was actually what was required under HIPAA. If they were HIPAA compliant, they would have had it. So what you're seeing is you have a very large market, 3 to 5 million covered entities and business associates, because people who service the healthcare market also need to be HIPAA compliant. The government has already invested over, in this case, over $44 billion into these programs, and they are not happy. Why are they not happy? Because the current reported rate by the federal government is that 70% of the organizations audited fail. Okay, so there is this chronic problem. Now, what else is kind of, if you want to call it, enticing for you to be playing with it? With the heavy enforcement, you've seen over $20 million already be fined this year. By the way, 650,000 of it, this is the first time this has ever happened, was actually fined to an MSP or an IT company out of Philly. For what you will see is the common misunderstanding. They had done many security risk assessments, but it failed to satisfy the rest of the law. So you do not want to be in that arena. Right now, 100% of the audit of the fines that have been levied in 2016 were for one of two reasons or both reasons. Incomplete risk assessments, i.e. they did their security risk assessment, but they did not do the rest of the audits, which are things like privacy and administrative, and failing to have appropriate business associate agreements in place. Some of your clients, a lot of the MSPs I talk to, they'll say, my client didn't ask me to sign a BA agreement, so therefore I haven't done it. So you do want to sign those. Now, the other thing about what's going on with HIPAA, it's a very hot topic in the media. Not quite as hot as the election right now, but you're seeing specials on CNN and most shows. You see Dr. Oz, Prince's medical information was inappropriately exposed, major athletes, Prince and Princess from England. So this is something that the American public, although they may not understand what HIPAA is, they are demanding their covered entities, and therefore the covered entities are demanding it from you, that they want HIPAA compliance. They know it's important. Just to give you a sense that, from the size of the market and the opportunity of it, if you take CRN, CRN rated that healthcare compliance is the fastest growing sector right now. So it is something that if you are not doing it, you absolutely should. Okay, so where are the big misunderstandings? Most folks assume if they did a security risk assessment, had policies and procedures and training, they were HIPAA compliant. Unfortunately, that is not accurate. If you were a behavioral health group out of Alaska, for example, and this is in the small and mid-sized sector, by the way. This was a 30-person organization. They were fined $150,000 for that exact scenario. Minor malware breach caused them to report a breach. Therefore, the government asked for their basic information, and they were fined $150,000 for missing what is the requirements. The reason why we have grown and why I think you want to understand through the SaaSMAX portal what we're doing is that the solutions you are currently looking at in the market, for the most part, are incomplete. They address, there's nothing wrong with them, okay, but they are addressing pieces of compliance. So if you look at the graphic, what you're seeing is the security risk assessment is critical, but there are technically 6 other or 5 other audits that are required under the law that if they're not completed, they're not compliant. So one of the reasons why we've been so successful, or helping our clients be so successful, and ultimately our partners, is by having a total solution that incorporates everything they need to be compliant. Now, one of the things that often happens is some of the folks we partner with are a little cautious because they're like, hey, I know a lot about security. I don't know a lot about HIPAA or compliance, and I don't want to increase my liability. Let me assure you, the way our system works, which I'll talk about in a minute, we will address that for you. Now, from an enforcement perspective, there has been over $20 million levied this year. They have gone after everything from small dental practices, physical therapists, counties, states, nonprofits, insurance companies. The past belief that HIPAA violations or HIPAA fines were only levied to large organizations is dramatically incorrect in today's world. 2 or 3 things that you do want to care about. There has already been 3 prison sentences levied. One doctor, in this case happened to have been a dentist, his license was permanently revoked for HIPAA violations, and state attorney generals now also have the ability to levy fines. The other big thing is there is something called the Phase 2 protocols. I will not bore you with the whole sense of it, but what happens now is if you have one client that fails, has an incident or a breach that fails, they will then audit you, and they will audit, if you fail, they will then audit all of your clients. So what we do, I will not try to bore you with all of the different things that are built into our platform, but let me suffice to say, everything that is required for you and your client to be 100% compliant is built into our platform. We also do not expect you and or the end client to be knowledgeable about compliance. We focus predominantly on the small and mid-sized market, where often we are just dealing with a practice manager or the owner, the doctor. So you get a compliance coach who holds your hand through the process being all of the audits required under HIPAA. There's 6 of them. Full remediation plans, both security, privacy, and administration. Built into the platform is all of the policies, procedures, and training required. Full what's called document and version control, so if they have their own, they can continue using them, as well as what's called employee tracking or attestation tracking. We've helped many a client stay out of very large lawsuits by giving them the ability to prove that their staff had done this correctly, had an effective compliant program. Full business associate management, including BA agreements and audits, as well as incident management, which is required under the law. So everything that you and your clients need to be HIPAA compliant, totally built in. Clint, take the next slide if you could. And I was saying, coach holds your hand through the entire process. It's a 5 to 8 session, 5 to 8 half-hour sessions. The coach guides you and the client, so you don't have to be experts. Now, why would you want to add compliance as a service to your offering? First of all, by working with us, you do get what's called a verified seal of compliance. A big differentiator. We saw one of our clients, in this case it was VMRAX, win $1 million deal against another cloud hosting firm because they had the seal and the other ones didn't. So part of working with us is we will make sure you are compliant. You can double the current revenue and or profits that you have with your existing clients in healthcare. You can go after entirely new markets. Bear in mind, in today's world, it's not just doctors, it's also anybody who services them. So lawyers, accountants, billing firms, answering services, shredding companies, etc., all need to be HIPAA compliant. It is a lot easier for you to sell to open doors with this. This is a federal mandate. You know that 70% of the market is not compliant. When you go knocking to talk about HIPAA compliance, you will find they are very interested in hearing what you have to say, as well as the nature of the process that you go through with us. It is the coaches that are working with you that are going to be helping you explain to your client. You didn't do a risk assessment and you're trying to sell them something. You've helped them identify where they are lacking against a federal law and that they are mandated to fix, and you are just explaining to them how they're going to fix it. Okay. The other thing we see is this also increases efficiencies for you and your firm. Most folks we see spending 15, 20 hours to do security risk assessments. In our case, most of our partners do both the audits as well as the remediation plans in roughly 4 to 6 hours. So it's a lot more efficient than what you may be doing today. Okay. Clint, jump to the next one. So I know that as a business person, I understand the importance of you don't want to invest your time in things that you don't think will give you a dramatic return on investment. I will explain where this model comes from. But for example, if you have 20 healthcare clients, which is pretty attainable for most of the, many of the small and many of the mid-sized MSPs we already work with, although there's a lot more opportunity for you. By working with us, and I'll show you how our Partner Central program works, where we provide all the tools you need to do this. If you had just 20 clients, we can help you generate just shy of $500,000 in new revenue, of which at the profit margin that we help you deliver that at, you would see roughly $300,000 of net profit go into your business. So this is a very lucrative, differentiating, sticky opportunity for you to get involved with. By the way, these models, this particular model does not take into account any remediation project work you might have done, and often our MSPs are doing $5,000 to $15,000 for small, mid-sized clients. Okay, so this can be, there's lots of benefits to this. Clint, if you can bring the next slide, please. So how we came up with that is pretty simple. If you were an average client, let's say a 20-person small medical firm, if you were currently billing $100 per user per month, they need compliance as a service because our tool is something they interact with every day, and all of the employees are doing this. This is part of their training, part of their policies, procedures, etc. You can start off, for example, a company that, a small firm, you would start off with a $500 a month compliance as a service fee. And based on the audits, you have project work, as well as because of the additional encrypted email, secure messaging, hosting, etc. You can also up what is your monthly user pricing. So very often we see, although this does deviate across the country as far as what the numbers are and what you bundle into your services, but we often see MSPs bringing this up to $175 per user. So it is not uncommon for us to work with you and to help you take what was a $2,000 a month client, turn them into a $4,000 a month client with a 60 to 70% profit margin. To participate in our partner program, it's pretty straightforward, although we have a couple of different variations of it. There is a one-time setup charge of $3,000. For that, we are going to, one, bring you through the entire process, just like your client, i.e. we're going to make you HIPAA compliant, as well as provide you all of the sales and marketing material, as well as a sales coach who's going to help you bring this into your, to add compliance as a service into your offering. Clint, if you bring the next one, please. So all of the tools that you need are built in. So we have what's called a Partner Central portal. You log in. You also have not only do you have a compliance coach who's going to take you through the implementation process of being compliant, but you have your sales coach who's going to work directly with you to take our marketing material, which are fully customizable to you, to build out rolling 90-day marketing plans. We will then also work with you and train you on, let's say, what we call finance advice on how to build this into your offerings and how to teach you and your staff how to sell. Now, we realize that you may not have resources on your side to do this, so we do not expect you to, in either while you are building them out or on an ongoing basis. That sales coach you heard me talk about will do monthly sales calls with you. They will provide educational webinars, demos, and full sales support to help you win deals. We are not necessarily looking for lots and lots of MSPs. We're looking for folks that are clearly looking to differentiate their organizations in the healthcare sector. Although I'm not going to talk a lot about the other compliance things we do, but do understand that PCI is also built into our platform, as well as we have modules that take you into, for example, GLB in the banking sector. So there's a lot more tools we have, but as I stated earlier, I have never seen a faster growing sector right now than healthcare, so I highly recommend you jump on that. Okay, Clint, next one. So the way it works is when you get into Partner Central, everything you need, how to enter the clients, newsletters, training, marketing material, presentations, banner ads, all of this is also behind the scenes, got affiliate tracking built into it, so you don't have to worry about this stuff getting lost in the sauce. We are very careful about making sure that we are never competing with you and that any clients you identify stay your clients. Like I said, this is portal that you have full access to for whether it's just for you, your marketing staff, all of your sales staff. It's updated daily, if not weekly, with additional content of hot things that are going on in the market, such as enforcement efforts or programs we have going, our free education series, etc. Clint, next one if you could. The way it works is we start off with you working directly, once you've given us your setup fee, you start working directly with a compliance coach who's going to bring you through the process of becoming compliant. The next thing we're working with you is either directly with anyone on your staff who's involved, could be the same people, could be different people on the sales and marketing side. Ultimately, once we've gotten you teed up and everything in place, we are then going to work with you to identify and help you sell your first clients. I.e., our goal is to help you sign your first 5 clients within the first 90 days of you working with us. Ultimately, once we've helped you kind of get this set up, we continue to work with you directly, your sales coach as well as your compliance coach, in 90-day increments. So we're looking to the ongoing need to help you continue to either maintain and or acquire new clients and service them well. So basically, hopefully you found that helpful. Obviously, I'm pretty passionate about the opportunity here, but I truly cannot, in all the businesses I've ran, right now the business of HIPAA and healthcare is an incredibly hot sector. The concerns you may have had, or you may be finding of people asking you questions, doctors are, let's say, cost conscious, etc. Right now with the current enforcement efforts, that is going out the door. They need to be compliant, and they're more than willing, or actually their preference is to get it from their providers like yourself. So thank you very much, Clint.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. And just a quick note, as some of our partners said, why are you putting compliance in with security? And my answer to them is because they kind of go hand in hand, although compliance may not be security. It's required by your clients, and it also helps you drive the needs and different additional project work and different security applications that you may be selling or want to pick up to go along with this. So it really helps you drive the other portions of your business. As you can make great money with them, but also it helps drive more of your business. So just want to throw that out there. Giving everyone a chance to continue to type in your questions. I know question and answer will go a little bit over our time today. Hopefully you can stay on for the question and answer session and give us another 5-10 minutes. But please type in your questions while I go over really my last slide is our cybersecurity reseller commerce platform. This really is your competitive advantage. Reach out to me and I can talk to you about it, or one of our partner success managers can walk you through your reseller commerce platform, how you can get signed up for SaaSMAX. Best of all is we're doing the first white labeled web stores for the next 100 companies that register for one. It's going to be completely free to you. We are going to have some charges for that after we get our first 100 companies on. We've got about 25 running right now, and we're adding some more. Competitive advantage because with the stores, we're helping with the digital marketing support. So you can, a lot of resellers aren't great at digital marketing. Maybe you are today, but a lot of your folks out there and a lot of your contemporaries are not, your colleagues are not good at it. So we're going to be helping with the digital marketing support on the web stores, making sure they're seen. So we're going to help you increase the reach even outside of your own region, where you can bring partners in, which is a great thing about software as a service, is you really no longer have to stay local. SEO building, we'll be helping with those, with the SEO on the web stores as well as a personal reseller blog, where we'll provide content for your blog to go out and help you generate more additional traffic to your platform. So we're doing a lot to support our reseller community and our solution provider community. So reach out to us and learn about how you can be involved and get your free cybersecurity commerce platform today. So I forgot to take the submit your survey. We will be sending you out a survey for the attendees to fill out and get back to us. And now I would like to turn the session over to my host and friend, Laura Stewart, who's going to have some questions in the questions. And please type in more questions as you have them. We'll try and get to them. And if not, we will provide you answers afterwards. So Laura, take it away.
Thanks, Clint. There have been some questions posted in the webinar portal, and believe it or not, I actually had a number of people text me personally and email me some questions as well, because apparently they were watching on their phones, and it was just too difficult for them to type long questions that way. So they vocally, I guess, voice to texted me. So I'll be adding those as well. First question is, and if I pronounce your name wrong, please forgive me. It looks like it's Siafa Sherman, who said, and this is for Zach at Ningio, what are the typical subscription terms for Ningio, and are there any examples available that outlines a model customer engagement?
So typical subscription terms for Ningio. So I didn't go over kind of what the MSP program looked like, but what we have is that private portal that we talked about. There's a $2,000 annual fee to the MSP for that private portal. Basically, the LMS software runs in its own instance. Then there is a 100 user per month minimum, and we wholesale 1 to 1,000 users at $1.50 per user per month. So there's about a $150 a month minimum. Once you get to 1,000 users, we waive the private portal fee. In terms of the folks who have been the most successful, they tend to be MSPs that have slightly larger customer bases, and when I say that, we have a 30 user minimum. So regardless of the size of the customer that you've got, if they're a 9-person company, we're charging them for 30 seats, i.e. you're charging them for 30 seats. Actually, I take that back. That's not true. In the resale program, you can do, because we wholesale you the content, you can do whatever you want. But our stuff is so inexpensive that when you're selling it at $3 for 9 users, $27 a month, there's just not a lot of money to be made. So you really need to think about like what size client you're going after. But typically our MSPs with 40, 50 seats and above tend to be the most successful.
There's a follow-up question to that. When does a client, the actual end user, actually see our ROI by using Ningio, or don't they?
Well, okay, so ROI, return on investment, not the easiest thing in the world to prove in the training world or in the security awareness world. However, if you go to ningio.com/ROI, it's almost like this question was teed up for me. We've done a lot of research on our ROI argument based on real data that we've gotten from different sources, different credible sources, and we can prove a bare minimum of a 3.5x ROI on the money that's spent on Ningio. So ningio.com/ROI. It's an infographic. I would encourage you to read through it in detail, understand the math behind it, and then you can explain it to the customer pretty easily.
Perfect. Thank you, Zach. If anybody has any further questions on that, just please let us know. And if you emailed me, I'm happy to take it that way as well. This is for Andrew or Jenna at My Digital Shield. Is there always a device on site that needs to connect to your platform?
Yeah, hi, I'll take that. So there's the 2 options that you can deploy My Digital Shield. Either one of our cloud-linked devices that we will ship to you. It's just a small box the size of maybe a couple packs of cards that filters all the or takes all the internet traffic up to our cloud. Or if you have an existing third-party gateway that we've approved, like a Cisco or a Meraki or Sophos or SonicWall, we can convert that to utilize your existing hardware investment and just turn it on to be able to engage with us.
Okay, another question for you guys. This says, we have many clients who deal with federal regulations, including PCI, HIPAA, Sarbanes-Oxley, and more. Does your product help them comply, and if so, how?
Yeah, so Andrew did have to jump off the call here really quickly, so I am not the best to articulate that answer. Laura, if you could note that down and send it to us, we'll get right back to the attendee.
Okay, that'd be great. And the last one is, what is the sweet spot on your client size for your product?
Yeah, so typically we cater just to the kind of our whole model of our solution to the SMB market, but of the devices that we have, our Pro unit goes up to about 1,000 users. And we can also deploy this in a multi or remote site scenario.
Great. Thank you so much for answering those, Jenna. And I'll get that other one over to you for Andrew to further answer, and we'll get that out to everybody who wants the answer to that. For Mark at the Compliancy Group, I have clients who have multiple locations. Can this be pushed from a central place, or does it require on-site visits to install your product?
Oh, that's a great question. The way our technology was built is SaaS, so as long as whoever is the administrator and ultimately the individual employees can get to the internet, they will have their own username and passwords to be able to access it. You, as the MSP involved in the process, you will have one login and have visibility to all of your clients and endpoints and where they are in the process, as well as you can set that type of relationship up for if you have a client that has multi-sites. So absolutely not a problem.
The same person asked the question, are you considered a BA or business associate as well as the MSP?
Yes, we are, actually. It's a great question. So yes, we are a BA, and we sign BA agreements all day long.
So that means you're sharing the liability along with the MSP if they put your solution in.
Well, one of the questions is, and actually just the way you asked that question, I'm not sure if that was the original person's question, the BA agreement.
No, I'm just taking it a step further.
Yeah, no, because here's what happens. The BA agreement actually does not increase your liability. It actually reduces your liability, because the way the law is written, without a BA agreement in place, you're still liable. Okay, so for example, technically, without a BA agreement in place, if there is a breach, an auditor will fine both organizations. They don't care. It's not their problem. You guys do not have an effective compliance program. Either of you, you're fine. If you have a BA agreement in place, and a good BA agreement, really what it says is we both agree we need to be HIPAA compliant and therefore are responsible for our own HIPAA compliance. But I'm only responsible if there's a breach if it happened on my side of the equation. I'm not responsible for your HIPAA compliance or breaches that occur on your side. So it's actually a lot of times, a lot of the speaking engagements we get involved with is helping, for example, MSPs to understand that if your client didn't ask for that BA agreement, you should be offering it. You should be forcing it, because if not, you're liable for what they do.
Okay, great. And the same person that was asking that has one last question for you, and they'd asked it for everybody else, actually, except a little different viewpoint. Doctors are notorious for not spending money. What is their return on investment for them? What's the hook to help them sign on board?
No, it's a great question. So the call to action is really, and then I will try to keep this concise, it's really three things. One is, most of them, the reason why they are not doing this or reacting negatively to it is they don't know really what they're required to do. So educating them, step one, being able to walk in and educate them on what the issues are, you will find a very different response. Two, just to give you a sense, the new director of OCR, she fined more last year than the last 19 years combined. Okay, so right now the chances of someone getting an audit and potentially going to jail or losing their license to practice medicine is about 1 in 300. Okay, not the 1 in a million chance that it was in the past. And what you're seeing is a combination of a bunch of things that are hitting right now. There were a bunch of grace periods that have all ended this year. So very heavy enforcement coming down the pike, so that you're seeing most medical associations are now pushing this information out to their members, and we work with a lot of those associations because they realize this is about to become a critical intersection point. The last thing is, a lot of it has to do with how you explain it, right? Because they need to be doing this. It's a federal law. They want to avoid what is these potential things. So often when I'm speaking to or working with an MSP and talking to their client, being HIPAA compliant is a differentiator right now. Okay, if there have been some surveys done. As a matter of fact, we did one with doctors.com, where having our seal of compliance on your website caused a 17% increase in conversion. So it actually increases their business. So those three reasons are why, when you do get the classic, hey, not really sure, we think we're doing okay, the combination of those three answers will usually win you the business.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was a very comprehensive answer, Mark.
Thank you.
Have a question for Josh at CompTIA. Josh, what is involved in the cybersecurity training?
That's a great question. So what we do is we'll set you up on, we'll set you up with your seats or whatnot, and then you'll be able to go and access it. It's a video, so it walks you through cybersecurity best practices. and it will show you, anybody at your organization that takes this. It will show you what questions they get correct or incorrect, and then that will help you know that they are, taking the best practices that they should.
Okay, perfect. And and on the slide, they have the information on how to link over to there. So thank you for that. We did have one other question for you, Josh. If somebody has more than 50 staff members in their company and they're a Premier member and they want access to CyberSecure, is there an additional cost?
There's an additional cost, but we do give a 10% discount. The pricing is set up in tiers depending upon how many you want to buy. So if the member does go over 50 seats, they'll get it's 10% off of the tiers moving forward, and obviously the more you buy, the cheaper it will be.
Perfect, thank you. And Clint, there are several questions for you, actually. A number of people have sent, is there a size you have to be to have a free cybersecurity web store?
There is no size. You don't have to be a certain size customer whatsoever. So, or reseller, or if you're a single man shop, we can definitely help you out. If you have 100 employees, we can help you out with the same thing.
Okay. And what is required from us to get profitable with the web store?
What's required from you is whenever you register there's no cost to be a SaaSMAX solution provider. It's free to sign up. So you would sign up, and it's a single sign-on from whenever you sign up on our regular website. You go up to our website, upper right-hand corner, you register. From there, our partner success managers or myself will be in touch with you to talk to you about your interests. And if you let us know you want one of the commerce platforms, you want one of your own web stores, then there's a small form to fill out. We just need to gather your information, your logos, and some different language and stuff that we need to populate the store. Once it's set up, we'll show you how to select which products that you want to put on there and how you want to build your bundles, give you some suggestions of bundles, or help you find other products that you can add to it, and show you how to use a platform. But insofar as cost, we don't charge you for any of that help.
Okay, and the last question that I have for you, Clint, is how do we find out more about the vendors that presented today and other SaaSMAX vendors?
So you can find out about all the vendors today. You can go up to SaaSMAX, and in the search feature above the depiction of our marketplace, you can type in their name. And remember, My Digital Shield is one word, so you have to type it in as all one word, and you can review their profile. On there, you'll be able to see all the information about their channel program, their overviews, target markets, marketing collateral that you can download, videos you can download and watch, as well as contact information there for the specific vendors. If you're not registered for SaaSMAX, whenever you're reviewing the profiles, you will not be able to access the pricing and the in-depth reseller portion of their profile. So you have to register and log in for that when you log in to see it. I will also be sending out all the attendees an email after this, a follow-up email, and I will include in that contact information and the links to their profiles in SaaSMAX in that particular email.
Perfect, and that was the last question that I have. If anybody has any last-minute questions, please type them into the question box. Otherwise, we are done.
Thanks, Laura, and I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Andrew and Jenna. I want to thank Mark and Ningio over Zach. I want to thank everybody for being here and presenting today. I also want to thank Josh Kilker once more and CompTIA for being a sponsor of SaaSMAX and of the cybersecurity commerce platform. And I appreciate everyone's day. Appreciate you putting up with us and spending a little extra time to hear the answers. We will be in touch with you. My contact information is here. If you want to speed up us contacting you and speed up your ability to get in on your own web store and your private label e-commerce platform, right here it is, ccgatewood@saasmax.com, and we'll be in touch very shortly. Thank you, and have a great afternoon. And thank you to Laura. If I didn't thank you already, thank you for helping me with all the arrangements and helping me set this up and being the co-host with me today. Thank you, everyone.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.